Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 5070 Ti in Forza Horizon 6. This one is the MSI Ventus 3X version of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power Ups GPU-Z, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and 32GB of RAM as usual. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright, first things first, let's go over the settings. I'm starting at 1440p resolution, which is the target res for the 5070 Ti, but I feel like 4K is a little bit better, you know, especially with DLSS and stuff like that. But moving on, I'm starting with DLAA as well, so it's still 100% resolution scale, no frame generation here. And on the graphics and performance settings, I have everything maxed out, and ray tracing included. Let's see how it performs. And, oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful morning right here. This car is not very good. Let me switch. Okay. I was playing the game and I just bought this one and I was trying it out for the first time. Let's go with this one. Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's start counting our FPS. We're close to 100 frames per second. Damn, that is actually impressive. With the ray tracing on maximum and everything, guys. Yeah, this should be a really stable and good experience here with the 5070 Ti indeed. Also, those 16 gigabytes of VRAM come in clutch. As you can see, it's allocating a little bit more than 12 gigs at the moment, and that means that like a 5070 with 12 gigabytes or 4070 Ti and stuff like that, those GPUs would probably struggle a little bit. I know that they would struggle a little bit because I tested them already. Oh, this area is actually really pretty here. Look at this. Look at these streets. Look at those reflections on the car. It's just everything is amazing in this game, my friends. Also, yeah, those reflections actually aren't really that high quality, you know, on the power lines at least, but the power lines in general aren't really that high quality. You're gonna see some shimmery power lines pretty much at every anti-aliasing setting. Also, I just noticed that we lost our license plate already. This is terrible. It's probably a reminder that I should definitely try the GT710 in this one. So, it's probably going to be a short video, guys, because I'm pretty sure it's going to... Whoa, what the hell was that? That wasn't like a rewind or anything. I smashed onto something and my car went backwards and sideways at the same time. That was really weird. That's not how physics work. But yeah, so far so good, guys. We've been driving around town, you know. It drops into the 70s sometimes. 1% lows are at 68 right there. So really solid experience with the 5070 Ti. There we go. We're almost there, guys. And we're about to see the minimum FPS with a ton of vegetation. And ooh, it does dip down a little bit. Look at that. Yep, into the 60s, but I don't think it will drop from 60 FPS. 64, 61, 60. Okay. We're almost there. Oh boy. Will it actually dip down from 60 FPS? Damn. I think it's possible at this point. Like, in some specific area of the game with a little bit more dense vegetation than here. I mean, it doesn't really happen very often, honestly, but it might actually go down into like the high 50s sometimes. Worst case scenario. I think if you add a little bit of rain, for example, obviously I can't really control the weather, unfortunately, but if it started raining and inside of a forest, I think it would drop slightly from 60 FPS. So it's not going to be flawless here, but it is pretty much flawless, I guess. I mean, come on. Obviously, if you require higher FPS or better smoothness here in this title with the ray tracing stuff enabled, we have the option of utilizing some frame generation here. You could honestly just use quality DLSS, and on quality DLSS it would give you like 100 teens basically, or 120 sometimes, dropping into the 90s instead of dropping into the 60s at this point. So a major increase in performance of about like 50% in terms of minimum FPS, I think. But at the same time, on quality DLSS, things like the noise coming from ray tracing. Without ray tracing, you don't get any noisy issues, by the way. So I will also try it without the ray tracing here on extreme settings. But yeah, the noise from ray tracing starts being a little bit more noticeable here, especially in shadowy areas and areas with a bunch of vegetation. It's just a bit more smudgy, like over there, for example, than it would be on extreme settings without ray tracing. It's weird, I know, but there are some drawbacks to the ray tracing visuals. Mostly because the game doesn't have any ray reconstruction, sadly. I think that would change things quite a bit in terms of how the ray tracing looks, but it would also be a bit more intensive, so who cares. Now, if you don't want the DLSS quality look, you can always just enable frame generation here on 2 times. It doesn't really have a ton of artifacting. You can notice it, like around the car over there. If you look closely, there are some lines there caused by frame generation, which, you know, is a little bit of a shame. I wish they weren't there, but at the same time, it's minimal issue here, you know. Doesn't really matter too much. I think a lot of people will still enjoy the hell out of this game, and myself included, with the frame generation enabled. Although, oh boy, okay, wait a second. Let me just rewind here. But yeah, guys, this is obviously a higher refresh rate experience. In terms of latency, it's actually better than without frame generation enabled. I know I didn't really bring up the on-screen display up there from the Nvidia app, but you usually get around 10-15 more milliseconds without frame generation. That's because the reflex, Nvidia reflex, low latency, that doesn't get enabled unless you enable frame generation. So theoretically, it's a little bit more responsive with frame gen. I know it's freaking weird to say that and hear that, but it is how it is these days. A lot of games are doing this for some reason. Yeah, this is basically flawless at this point. Let's try 4 times FG, why not, you know? This should increase the amount of artifacting that we see, and that's definitely noticeable right there. All right. Yeah, there are a few lines right now, like 3 lines that are noticeable. But again, how often are you going to look at the back of your car, specifically the frame generation artifacting, while you're racing and driving really fast through the game? I don't know. I would say mostly it's fine. I wish to see a little bit of an update regarding frame generation ghosting here, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people won't really care about that anyways. My girlfriend, for example, has been playing with frame generation enabled, and she's absolutely fine. She doesn't even notice that ghosting thing. And here with 4 times frame generation, guys, we get close to 300 frames per second. Latency numbers are still totally under control. I can't really feel a difference, especially because I'm playing with a controller here, you know. And as long as it doesn't really drop from like 200 FPS, which it doesn't seem to be doing at all, it's very far from 200, you know, it's going to be pretty good in terms of artifacting. The only artifacts that I can see are those behind the car in roads, just gray roads. Everywhere else, like right here, I can't really see any weirdness around the car anymore. And I would get like down to 200 though. Damn, that's my threshold for good artifact-free, almost frame generation 4 times, by the way. So we're right on the threshold, but we're getting more than 200, so everything is fine here. All right, if you want to do this, go ahead. It's going to be a good experience. And I mean, that's totally expected, right? A good experience with the 5070 Ti. At this point, we all know this game runs very well, so it's not going to be a problem for an almost $1,000 GPU. Yeah, unfortunately, this costs almost $1,000 these days. We're at 4K resolution right now, by the way, with the ray tracing enabled still, and DLAA, no frame generation. And here, we don't get a very smooth experience. And the baseline FPS, I would say, are... Woof, that's a lot of ghosting there. That's because of DLAA, guys. With DLSS 4 in this game, it doesn't look the best, honestly, sometimes. It's only in a few situations, but yeah, you're gonna notice that. Anyways, as I was saying, these are not very good FPS for us to enable frame generation on top of... Oh my god, this is so bad. Well, this is a drift zone, and I'm gaining points by doing this, so there's that. Oh my gosh, Black Shannon got 174,000 there already. Damn, that guy. He's a friend of mine in real life, you know, and he plays this game a lot. I don't even know how many hours he has put into this game, but probably more than me in the last 2 weeks. And I had early access to the game, you know. Anyway, guys, if you're aiming for 30 FPS, it's going to be possible. It's going to be doable for sure at native 4K with all of the ray tracing features and everything else enabled, which is fantastic. Oh, look at that, Mount Fuji. Damn, this is so pretty over here. Look at that. Look at that view, dude. The lake and everything. Oh, you freaking bastard. Damn. That's awesome. Anyway, for 30 FPS experiences, this is fine, and I can play the game like this, you know. I have tested lower-end GPUs like the GTX 1650, 1080 Ti, which was a high-end card, you know, but these days, I mean, come on. It's closer in performance like a 5050, maybe even slower than that, actually. Yeah, it is slower than that. So, it's a lower-end card, not low-end, lower-end, all right? And yeah, with those GPUs, for a good visuals-to-performance ratio, I would probably play with settings that give you around 40-something frames per second. So this is definitely a playable experience. The fact that it doesn't stutter helps it a lot with these low FPS as well. Like, this buttery smooth experience is amazing. And like the AMD stuff, unfortunately, you know, I hope they fix the AMD cards soon, guys, because it's a shame how they're running right now. At least my 9070 XT, it was just, yeah. It was giving a lot of stuttering issues. Like, in terms of performance, it was close to what we're seeing here with the 5070 Ti, which is very impressive, especially when it comes to ray tracing and stuff. But in terms of the stuttering and stability, it was just bad, honestly. And I think it's down to the drivers, probably. Some people told me it's down to the drivers. The older drivers work a little bit better. So I guess AMD needs to fix it. Or the developers. I don't know. I did my part. I sent them an email. So, yeah, talking about the issue and linking my video. Anyway, moving on. This is quality DLSS here. And this looks basically the same as native 4K resolution with the DLAA, but now we're getting double the FPS. Or roughly, I mean, not quite double because we were seeing 40s very often, but now it's not really dropping from 60 FPS very often, is it? We saw like 50-something there, high 50s. Yep, 59, 58. Oh boy. But this is like an extreme scenario once again, so it drops your FPS by a lot, and it's not really that big of a problem, honestly. This is working fine. 69 on average. Very nice. You know, that's the perfect number, not the freaking 6-7 from today's kids. Anyway, why did they put... Whoa! I just teleported. What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh. I have seen 2 bugs in this game already, in this video. And I've seen like 0 in the others. That's crazy. Anyway, in the city area, we get slightly higher FPS than in those forest areas. But there's also like a park here, of course, which gives us around like 65... Oh boy, I was looking at the FPS. It's a very important thing. Like, don't look at FPS if you are driving, all right, in real life, because you're gonna crash. Oh my god. I wasn't even looking this time around. But look at the latency as well, by the way, so high because we're not using frame generation. It's so weird, but hey, it's totally fine. Like, movement-wise, I can play the game all day long like this. All right, 69 on average is what we got in the end. 57 1% lows. I would say these are pretty good FPS, you know? If you have a 4K monitor and you don't like the frame generation, or you can notice the obvious frame generation artifacts around the car sometimes, I think I would play on quality, honestly. Compared to performance, DLSS, there is quite a bit of a difference. Don't count the FPS. The 1% lows are up there now. But yeah, in terms of the visual fidelity from quality to performance, obviously quality DLSS is 1440p internally, and then it upscales to 4K, and it looks much better than 1440p on a native 1440p monitor. And then performance is 1080p internally, and upscale to 4K with the DLSS, it still looks better than any 1440p monitor. It's only like in very specific games, like maybe one specific game, Crimson Desert, that doesn't really look that great with performance DLSS. Every other game that I tried, I could definitely play with performance DLSS, but at this one, you can start noticing the difference, whereas with quality DLSS, it's basically the same as DLAA, you know, it's really, really sharp and detailed. Yeah, this is a perfect experience at 4K resolution, and this is exactly why, at the beginning of this video, I said that I was starting at 1440p, yes, the GPU is aimed at 1440p gaming, and it's targeted at that resolution, but 4K, I think, is where it's at. That's just my opinion, of course. A lot of people are enjoying the games at 1440p with a 5070 Ti, and that's absolutely fine, obviously. I would also enjoy it. It's just that once you go 4K, you don't want to go back, my friends. Anyway, let's move on. Should we try a bit of 4x frame generation, guys? I mean, you don't really need to. I would go with 2 times. Once again, that's my preferred way to play most games. But if you want to do 4 times, well, expect it to be below that threshold magic 200 FPS number with 4 times frame generation that I like to achieve with 4 times frame generation, alright? So it's going to be smoother. One of those like 4K OLED monitors, 240 Hz, will look insane with 4 times frame generation, but here you can start noticing a bit more artifacting whenever it drops from 200 FPS compared to 2 times FG. Especially like in other parts of the picture. Obviously with 2 times FG you also had the little lines over here. Not as noticeable though. Oh, this is so pretty of an area as well. Damn. But I can see a bit of artifacting for sure. You could drop it down a little bit here with 4 times frame generation to performance DLSS, and this way I think we should be getting those 200 plus pretty much at all times. Oh damn, this still looks so good, dude. Whoa. With these trees, the purple ones or pink ones actually. Yeah, it's so nice. Japan is so pretty of a setting for this game, dude. I mean, it's awesome. 200 plus inside of vegetation areas, forest areas, as you can see. No problem whatsoever, guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty now. Oh my, this game, man, this is so nice. I swear. I mean, look at the view here. Look at that, dude. Oh, that is sick. Oh, that reminds me so much of Algarve here in Portugal. Damn. Bro. And this is performance DLSS, of course, by the way. And I told you I could notice a difference between this and quality, but let me disable frame generation here. Honestly, yeah, it may be a tad bit over-sharpened at this point to make up for the loss of detail, basically. But at the same time, it still looks amazing. I mean, I was playing this game on a 65-inch 4K TV. And I played with performance DLSS to achieve good FPS, you know, on a 5070 Ti laptop. I already told you this in other videos, I know, guys, but some people are here for the first time. So, yeah, I played on a 4K TV, performance DLSS, and sitting back on the couch, you know, I couldn't really notice much of a difference between quality and performance here. And I would choose performance in those situations. But on the desktop with a 32-inch monitor, which is what I'm utilizing here, it just gets a tad bit over-sharpened, honestly, because I'm very close to it. I'm like an arm's length away. But yeah, guys, if you don't want the frame generation because you can notice the artifacts a lot, you can disable it and achieve 60 plus FPS pretty much at all times here with performance DLSS, which is, it's noticeably more smooth, or smoother, yeah, that's how you say it, crisp, than quality DLSS at 4K. Alright, quality gave us, what, 69 FPS average, I think? This one's giving us 89, although I didn't really do exactly the same thing, of course. We spent a lot of time in the woods previously. But let's go to the woods now and see the worst case scenario. 70, 71, 73, 72. Yep, no problem whatsoever, guys. See, now it has a hard time dropping from 70. And did I try 2 times FG with performance DLSS? Well, maybe I didn't. I don't know. So let's enable that. For those of you interested in this situation, this scenario. So 120s. It's going to be the FPS that you get, like 120 plus, I guess. Which makes sense, but if you are going to utilize frame generation, I would just utilize quality DLSS. It gave you a really good baseline for FG to be enabled on top of. And it gives you slightly cleaner visuals with the quality DLSS instead of performance DLSS plus frame generation, you know. So that's what I would do. There's something for us to destroy here. What is it? Where is it? What the heck? Maybe here? On the other, yes, there it is. Okay. There we go. Ramen. Oh, this is so pretty around here, dude. Right? Oh, look at that. It's one of those temples. This is so nice. I'm just gonna... Oh my god, I'm destroying everything. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna go into photo mode here, which disables the frame generation, by the way. Look at that. That is so nice. It seemed like it was stuttering, right? But it wasn't. It was just me getting stuck in these things. Damn, this area is pretty as hell. Look at all of the fish. Oh boy. Attention to detail, my friends. Alright, so lastly, with ray tracing, we shall try 1080p resolution. And I'm gonna use DLAA here only at 1080p, because there's no need for you to drop it down. There it is, and the ray tracing max settings, we get 100 FPS at 1080p. So no need to utilize FG, no need to utilize quality DLSS. Actually, don't utilize quality DLSS at all here at 1080p. It will look a lot softer because it renders 720p and upscales to 1080. And yeah, it's a good experience here, honestly. The thing is, I would never pair this GPU with a 1080p display unless you're mainly playing esports titles. I have seen this game running at 1080p. It's not really that impressive, you know. I'm seeing it right now, but I'm using a 4K monitor. But the thing is, I have tried a 1080p display here in Forza Horizon 5. I was testing one of those a while ago. Forza Horizon 5, Forza Horizon 6. With DLAA, it's passable for sure, but you lose a lot of detail compared to a 1440p or a 4K monitor. Well, anyways, guys, I think that's it for 1080p. Let's not spend a lot of time here, you know. You can use frame generation, of course. I'm going to use 4 times. And if you have one of those 300 Hz, 400 Hz monitors, it's going to be nice here. It's going to provide you with a nice experience, but I would much rather have like 60 at 4K in a game like this. It's so pretty of a game that you should just enjoy the best visuals that you can enjoy. Alright, obviously it's going to be buttery smooth. It doesn't really skip a beat here at 1080p resolution, even without any trickery from frame generation and DLSS and stuff like that. So let's move on, my friends, alright? And let's move on to no frame generation, DLAA, with the extreme settings, or maximum settings, because I will still increase these to the maximum, but with no ray tracing. Alright, so this is it. We're still keeping the 1080p resolution for now. And instantly, I think it looks a little bit sharper. Just because of that denoiser that needs to get rid of the ray tracing noise. It looks a little bit sharper because there's no denoiser going on at the moment. And it looks just as good, right? I mean, there's not much of a difference if you're not seeing things side by side. Once again, this is just incredible. And the cube maps, trickery, reflections that they did here in this game is just insane. It literally looks like you're still running ray tracing in this game, aside from the water reflections and stuff like that. But the car reflections are so damn good, and they're so damn accurate still. You know what? I just switched cars, guys, because this one's a little bit more reflective. Yeah, this is so sick. Look at that. I'm gonna go to the city and showcase those reflections that I was telling you about here. Over here, I need to go into photo mode to showcase this more accurately. You can see, like, that sign over there. You can see that yellow thing. Where is it? That over there. You can see everything being reflected here. It's so nice to have these reflections without needing to drop your FPS by half, you know, by utilizing ray tracing. It's really well done here. It's like in Forza Horizon 5. They did the same thing. This engine is awesome when it comes to that stuff. And of course, the optimization that the developers put into this game is also awesome. It plays into that. Optimizing visuals is just as important as optimizing frame rates. Anyway, that's it for 1080p. I mean, it's very easy to run at this point, especially without the ray tracing. Let's try 4 times FG just for fun. 460s, 500 FPS. So you can actually reach the engine limit of this game. It doesn't really go above 500. That's the maximum. And it gets very close to that often. Obviously, in the forest areas, we would probably see it down into like the 300s. maybe low 400s, I guess. Not quite far as 300s, I guess. But yeah, this is just flawless, obviously. So let's move on to 1440p resolution. This is another resolution where you're not going to need to utilize DLSS. I'm just going to increase the size of that. Yeah, I would just stick to DLAA here at 1440p, even without frame generation, because I don't really need more than 100 FPS. Honestly, I'm fine in this game with like 90 FPS locked all of the time to save a bit of power, or 120 FPS or so. This is just, yeah, it's buttery smooth. It's 1440p native, no ray tracing, but no problem. It still looks really, really good, guys, without that ray tracing stuff ruining our FPS. Well, not quite ruining, because in this game it's very optimized, but still, oh my god, that's a very big tree, yep. Still, we saw it drop to like 59 FPS, I think, maybe 57, I don't remember properly. At 1440p, maybe it didn't drop from 60, but it did drop to 60 for sure. And now it doesn't even drop from like 110, you know? Like, that's insane. I'm so happy with the performance of Forza Horizon 6. You can have it look 90% as good as with RT, but running at almost twice the performance. And even on old GPUs, like the 1080 Ti, for example, that I tested, it looked great. Although, with that GPU, you don't have shadows. For some reason, I did not notice it in that video. Like, I was playing the game. I played the game for more than an hour with a 1080 Ti. I just thought that the weather was overcast, you know, and that's why we didn't really have shadows. Ambient occlusion was still there, so it kind of masked it a little bit. But yeah, apparently the 10 series are having a little bit of an issue, unfortunately. It still looked good, though. But I'm not even sure if you can get sunny weather with those GPUs, so it's probably not worth getting the game with those. Do you need me to test frame generation? I mean, oh boy, why not? It's a complete benchmark. It's going to be a big video anyway, so if you're here, you're here. You're here because you enjoy the commentary and the gameplay. Well, the gameplay probably not so much because I suck at it, but yeah. But if you're still here, it's probably because you care, so I'm going to keep testing these. All right. So, 100-ish. Oh boy, come on, damn it. I keep looking at the FPS in the wrong areas. I'm about to crash and I look at the FPS and then I crash. This is so pretty inside of here, by the way. Damn. It's really nice. 100 and almost 200 FPS there. So you gain quite a lot of FPS by using 2x FG. It still looks just as sharp here. That's one thing that FG doesn't really cause many issues in, is the sharpness of the game. Because in other titles, sometimes it gets really soft with FG enabled, noticeably softer. Over here, it's hard to notice. I can notice it because I've been trained to do so, but most people won't even notice a smoothness, a softness difference, actually, in terms of visuals with FG or without FG. Let's do 4x now. Did the game lock itself to 120? No, we're just getting 120 here in the menu. Okay. Sometimes it locks itself to 120 for some reason. But here with 4x FG, it shouldn't really be a problem. This time I can actually notice, and it's quite noticeable that it became softer, picture quality-wise. But at the same time, I'm running this on a 32-inch monitor, big monitor here, 4K. On a native 27-inch 1440p, it will still look very sharp, of course. So keep that in mind. Yeah, it's just 300 plus almost all of the time. That is crazy. We're still not even utilizing DLSS quality. This kind of thing is impossible in lots of new games, you know. Even with 4x FG, it's still impossible in lots of new games to achieve like 300 plus at 1440p native. Extreme settings. It's crazy. And this is very nice here. This is a really nice area. I already played this little drag race here. Got 3 stars. Very nice. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. That's so pretty. Pretty awesome stuff here without the ray tracing. I'm not even sure if at this point if I would utilize ray tracing. It looks so good to me already, like this. It's just, but it also looks great with RT, obviously. It looks the best with RT, supposedly. So, aside from vegetation, which looks worse. Yeah. Choices, my friends. You gotta make a lot of choices. But here, guys, you get pretty similar FPS to what we were seeing with performance DLSS at 4K with ray tracing. Just by disabling ray tracing. Now we're at native resolution. We're using DLAA here. No upscaling. So the ghosting is going to be minimal at this point. You get 60 plus 100% of the time, even in areas with a ton of vegetation. The game looks breathtaking right now, especially at sunset. It's just so damn good, like the lighting, even without RT. Again. Alright guys, so this is awesome. Native 4K resolution is super doable here. If it was between like this on extreme without ray tracing and 1440p on extreme with ray tracing, it gets roughly the same FPS, right? Actually, this is better in terms of FPS, but the experience will be largely the same in terms of smoothness. Damn it. Crashed. I think I would choose this. Ray tracing is pretty and all, but this is still so damn good. And now you got that crispness of 4K as well. Again, you don't need to utilize DLSS, but since DLSS on quality doesn't even look bad here, it looks almost the same as the DLAA, I'm still gonna enable it and see how it does. So we went from like 80s to 100s. Not as big of a difference here at 4K resolution, right? When you enable DLSS. Around here, 90s, 100s, still inside. Actually, maybe that is a big difference because previously it dropped to the 70s. So yeah, if you're okay, if you want to play with DLSS quality, there is a slight smoothness advantage to be had. But what I do, if you don't mind playing with frame generation and the artifacting, of course, that comes with it, is utilize 2x FG on top of the DLAA. And here you get those smooth 100 plus FPS all of the time. Like, I don't even need to go test it in the forest area, right? At this point. Oh boy, it's just so smooth. 130s, 140s. Amazing, amazing experience. And this is why, my friends, I said in the 5070 Ti review that I made when this card released that it was probably the best price-performance GPU from Nvidia on the premium side of things, you know? Yeah, it's very expensive at $750 at MSRP. Oh, damn. But the performance is there, you know? Anyway, guys, that's been it for this one. Beautiful sunset right there. Oh my god, like, look at that. That is... I could spend an entire evening just playing this game for these visuals. But just to see the views. Oh, it's awesome. 4x FG gives you 200 plus here. Although inside of forest areas it might drop. Yeah, it does drop a little bit. Not the end of the world though. It's right around 200 inside of forest, so it's going to be like 230 outside of forest, or 200 plus. So it's still very usable here with 4x multi-frame generation at the 4K resolution with DLAA. That's very impressive. And with all of that said, thanks for watching. That's been it for this one. 5070 Ti is tested in Forza Horizon 6. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more stuff like this. And I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.